Should we start with the goalkeepers?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's fun.
Right? There's going to be a lot of...
Nico.
He's not wrong.
I think there's going to be unanimous agreement here. Because it's... We're looking at Onana for Manchester United.
Yeah.
Not as a whole. It's got to be Robert Sanchez.
Okay. Okay. Is that based solely on? I mean, it's been a rough season for.
I think
Onana.
we need to see if we're going to judge Onana just on Manchester United. We got to judge Robert Sanchez only on Chelsea and not Brighton.
Okay.
I think if I were to choose a player for my team, I'm more confident in this moment.
Okay.
Robert Sanchez.
I'm going to go with Robert Sanchez as well. But, and I know we're just going with based on his time at United. Onana also is a Champions League final
Semi-final.
goalkeeper.
Oh, no, final. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
I was
With
there.
Inter. I was thinking with Ajax. You're right.
Well, nice. You know, we may have to start to grade some of these United players on a curb for the fact that they're on this United squad. And maybe they would play. Varane, I think, is a good example of someone who we may bring up, who isn't getting on the squad right now, but we may have to sort of airlift him out of this crisis situation, at least in our minds, and think of what type of player he has been in the past.
I went with Onana.
Wow.
Okay.
I did.
Darian,
I did.
Let's go.
Well, yeah, I was thinking whole scope. I think it's difficult to judge all of these players this season on these teams. I don't know if anyone's going to have more of a domineering performance that we can grade that's not going to be kind of harsh. So I think looking at the players as a whole and the success that they've had, I would pick Onana.
Onana's better.
I think he shows out in big moments. I mean, he makes mistakes in big moments too, but that's why I would put him on my team. I think he's just in a rut, and who wouldn't be if you're on United right now, to be fair.
It's true.
It's a rough position, though, to be.
Yeah, you can't make any mistakes.
Experiencing that type of slump.
Yes, you can't
Because
make any mistakes. It's crucial.
It's so hard, and I feel like we talked about this last week about just what a toll that takes when the keeper is in a bad head spot, and what it does to the rest of the team, and how it's just kind of it trickles throughout.
That shows the greatness of a goalkeeper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can make mistakes. So football's not, you can't be perfect. It's impossible to be perfect. And when you concede, you got to have the mental fortitude to say reset, wash, and we
100%.
start again. The best goalkeepers have made the worst mistakes. The best goalkeepers in history, and they're able to go beyond, to get over the hurdle quickly, and that shows the greatness of a goalkeeper. But somebody who is in a mental hole and you can't get out of it, it shows obviously not only where they're at, but the context that they're surrounded by, that they don't have the tools nor the support system to get out of that moment.
It's that Ted Lasso. You just channeled Ted Lasso there. What does he say? Be a goldfish?
Okay.
You have to forget.
Why?
You have to forget.
yeah.
They have
Short-term memory.
Short memories.
I swear to God,
Like
that was
after 3 seconds.
one of the first rules in goalkeeping that they should, hey, you're going to get scored on. You're going to get scored on. You get scored on, it's over.
Yeah.
Done. Next.
Nico's so good at it, short memory thing. He forgot the Ted Lasso thing. I was looking at there. He was like, "Wow, man, I'm really good at this. I'm so good of a goalkeeper." I will say, if you look at their save percentages, Onana is at 76, Sanchez is at 66.
Yes.
So stats-wise, it would push to Onana if you really look at the stats.
I know.
That said, confidence level. If you're a center back and you turn around and you see Onana right now versus Sanchez, you might
That's
have a
the
little
big
bit more
question,
confidence
though.
with Sanchez
Yeah.
back there, maybe. Because, especially Onana has those moments.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm leaning more towards where Darian's at here, because I do think about just what he was able to do last year at Inter and the performances that he had throughout Champions League. And I feel like I don't think that this season is necessarily indicative of who he is
Exactly.
as a goalkeeper.
Same goes for a lot of the players on this list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's getting 10 hogged.
Okay, in that respect, okay, I know. Don't yell at me, Jen, but I want to go straight to the coaching. Then who do we give the advantage to between Poch and Ten Hag?
Former Tottenham manager versus Eric Ten Hag. I'm gonna, with no stats, no nothing. I'm simply gonna say
Only this season.
Only this season. I'm gonna have to go with Mauricio Pochettino, and the reason being is, The main difference, if we're going to talk about this season, is Erik ten Hag walked into a bit of a squad that had a mini. I would say the ratio of crisis to comfortability is swapped as to where they started, and it's also swapped as to where they are now. I think Chelsea has started to settle. Chelsea has started to find their feet. They started to figure out what kind of club they are. And even when they mess up, it's not the, whoa, it's happening again, versus Erik ten Hag. Right now, there are reports that he's lost the locker room, or at least a portion of the locker room. He's being asked about it, which feels like, at this point, the hot seat has started.
They're leaving media out of the press conference. It feels like Manchester United has very little wiggle room, sporting-wise, and then in public opinion-wise. Any moment they misstep, it seems like the house is on fire once again. And Chelsea, because they're only fighting on one front, or their most important front is Premier League, is domestic football, really. They have a whole season to right the ship. And Pochettino knows what this game is like. He's been here before with Spurs. He knows how to talk. I feel like Ten Hag, they're asking him very difficult questions, twisting his arm, or he's twisting his own arm sometimes, and he hasn't handled all the situations, not closed doors, but also towards the media. So Manchester United has been under much more scrutiny than Chelsea has, although, to be frank, Chelsea, who sits lower than Manchester United, 10th isn't good enough, but there's more wiggle room for Poch to get it right.
Darian, from a player's perspective, do you believe that Ten Hag has the locker room right now? Do you believe that the players right now believe in him as their manager?
I think we're seeing right now in this moment, they don't. I think this has been a result of, do you disagree?
No.
I think this has been a result of everything going on, and then the public opinion. You're not getting the results that you want. And we've kind of gotten to this phase where you almost expect games to not go well. You expect big mistakes to happen. So being a player and going into matches like, dang, I wonder which one of us is going to let something go today or not. We don't know. Like, we don't have confidence in each other. You don't have confidence in your manager. And if the manager can't get that right and set the tone, what are you going to do?
So when you're in that whirlwind in the locker room, how do you navigate that as a player? How do you kind of quiet that outside noise and everything that's being said and what's going on, and just kind of focus on the game? Because I have to imagine that's there. It exists. You can't really escape it. So how do you go about dealing with it as a player?
I don't know, lean into your teammates, try to buy into each other, control the controllables. A lot of it is just outside noise that, it's a very forward-facing job. You're hearing your manager make comments. Everyone's talking about you constantly. Your results aren't adding up. So I think the only way is to lean into each other, focus on what you can control. Try to be positive.
But if the results aren't going your way, it's just, it just almost feels like it piles on. I want to ask this question too, because Manchester United are coming off that 1-0 loss to Newcastle. How detrimental would a loss to Chelsea at home at Old Trafford be today?
Wow. Every loss is detrimental. It worsens the crisis. It worsens the doubts. United needs to start winning. United needs to start winning, and maybe not even convincingly. Like, at this point, I don't think they care.
I agree with you. It doesn't matter how ugly, what the circumstances are, get 3 points on the board, especially at home. What you don't want to do is have the fan base turn on you at home. That's when things get ugly, and it's just unavoidable.
It started earlier this season. They had a string of losses at Old Trafford. And so I'm wondering, with a team like Chelsea, who they want to beat Chelsea. They want to take this team down, but it's just, I'm wondering if this is one of those games that they look back at in terms of like Ten Hag's future, and if things start to go really pear-shaped. I don't know.
The winter gauntlet is going to be very big for them, because odds say that they will be eliminated from Champions League, right? And if you go, their Premier League form, save that Newcastle loss just now, it's not that bad. It's not horrendous, but you sprinkle in Champions League losses or bad results in international football here and there, then you get eliminated in a week's time. It looks horrible. It is horrible for a team like Manchester United. It definitely does.
Each one of these mistakes feels bigger and much worse. Every loss feels much, much worse.
Right.
Because it's just continuing to happen. And it's funny, if they do get knocked out of Champions League, there's a chance that they don't even make it into Europa, because it's the bottom of their group.
No, they won't.
Yeah,
they won't. If they lose to Bayern Munich and one of the other teams wins, which
they're out.
They're in fourth place. Off the top of my head, by the way, now that you did the Ten Hag Poch comparison, I'm pretty sure the last time that they faced each other was in that Champions League semifinal where Lucas Moura turned the game around against Ajax.
Oh, wow.
I believe that was the last time they faced each other.
Wow.
Yeah.